accredited to vote in that polling unit, and you have 2 ballot paper for presidency, it means at the end of the day, you have at least 81 votes. And immediately that happens, the election in that polling unit will be invalid, will be declared null and void. So what they are trying to do is to ensure that they cancel out results in places where are obedient strongholds. So we need to lecture all the party agents, that especially the party agents. I heard someone talking about non-official. When it comes to election, if you are not the official party agent, you are not allowed to interfere on any official matter on that day. So this information we are giving now needs to be driven home to those that are official party agents of Labour parties and some other parties that are also contesting this election, because I believe it's not only Labour Party that wants to win election. There are other smaller parties as well that are also contesting the election. And also, one of other secret that I also got to know was that they are trying, most of the party agents that are coming from all these smaller parties are actually members of these 2 top political parties. They are just fielding those people to come in and fill up for them, and taking up forms to become political office holders in all these mushroom political parties. So the party agents for Labour Party needs to be someone that is on ground and understand the nitty-gritty of how beavers works and of how election is being done, how data are being captured, and how results are being uploaded. So they need to be trained properly on that. And also, I want to allay our fears about rigging or no rigging. I can tell you categorically that there cannot be any rigging in this election. The reason being that the rigging that has been done before are actually majorly overvoting. You see one person to print like 50 ballot papers for in a certain polling unit. But with the invent of beavers, you can only be accredited once, and you can only vote once, even if you have 100 voters card. So it means all the excess voters card that they are buying, let them continue to buy people's voters card, but Obedient should never sell their voters card to them. They can buy as many voters card as they want. You can only be accredited to vote with one voters card, and you can only vote with that voters card. So we need to be on ground. We need to be careful. Whoever will be the official party agent, the party agent official is still open. We can walk into any Labour Party secretariat and register with them to be a party agent. I think that the work of party agents is even the most crucial work that we're going to do now. And immediately the result is being uploaded from the polling unit, it becomes impossible anybody to change the results at the local government collation level, at the ward collation level, local government collation level, senatorial collation level, and the federal collation level. Because the result that is being uploaded, everybody around the world will have access to it. So there's no way you can come and change it from anywhere. But if we don't do the due diligence at the polling unit, that is the place where they can do one thing or the other. But like the last speakers have spoken, the election is not 100% free and fair, which is almost the same with almost everywhere in the world. But I can tell you that that is coming up next month would be almost a true reflection of who people voted for, as long as we stand our ground and we ensure that they do not cancel the results from polling units, states, wards, and regions where we are in control. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. You made a very solid point about voting, and that's what people don't know. We'll just quickly take, it's currently busy, so I'll put the vote for a while. We'll just quickly take.
Could I please, the co-host, could I please quickly take, 1 or 2 reactions, and then I leave the space because I have to attend to something else. Is that allowed?
Yes, okay, Mr. Chima, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you so very much. Let me start by thanking Aki once again for inviting me to the space. And then let me also apologize to people who feel that some of the things we shared should not have been shared publicly. I have made efforts in times past to share these things privately, and part of why I'm now sharing them publicly is to see if well-meaning Nigerians can act on it. For instance, the 53,000 voters that were delisted from the voting register, we are 55,000 plus that Nigerians majorly obedience reported. If they didn't report those voters today, they would have been issued their PVCs. And so some of the things I'm saying, although the unfortunate consequence is that it might rub off as negativity, but it's important that we know these things and mitigate against them. And I have clearly stated yesterday that the negative energy might be the unfortunate byproducts, or if you like, the collateral damage of some of the things we are sharing. But we have days to the elections. We can quickly shake these things off and then develop clear modalities. For instance, on the vote beavers, I have said in any case that we are not able to compel INEC to track the number of successful or failed accreditations, I've said, can the Labour Party or indeed any other party develop modalities, train their polling unit agents to independently track those things, especially tracking the data of all unique authentication requests made on the election day. So I am available if called upon to assist in developing the training manual for polling unit agents of the Labour Party or indeed any other party apart from the big two. Number two, if we are also interested in cleaning up the voter register, I believe that fundamentally something is still wrong with the voter register. And apologies that some of these issues may not sit well with some people, especially my friend Madonna, who has not been feeling quite well since yesterday. Madonna, please, by all means, you should get up and continue to do what you're doing because you're doing an important work. But as to the voter register, I will invite Nigerians, especially obedience, to take another chance at auditing the voter register. As of today, there are 18 copies of that voter register that is made available. I don't know where INEC is on publicly making that voter register available. But if this voter register, I can confirm to you, has been given to the National Secretary of the Labour Party, I expect them as a party and as a presidential campaign council to empanel a team of forensic experts to look at the voter register and recommend what they should do from that register. But if they are unable to do that, Obedience have been subsidizing some of the campaigns we're doing. People have taken initiatives, mounting billboards, printing t-shirts, printing flyers. If there are people who can mobilize themselves, get a team of data and scientists, data analysts, and forensic experts to review the voter register, even if we don't have the resources and time to look through the records of the 36 states, can we pick up the states we can clean up? Someone here mentioned something he saw, I think in Jigawa or so. Right? Can we authenticate? Can we look at where that place or those places seem to be harvest or factory of that is well designed for manufacture of goods? And sometimes those goods can be fake. I believe that if we audit further the voter register independently, then we'll have a good case to further clean up the voter register even before voting commences. Those are some of the things I think we can do as obedience movement, in addition to the canvassing and the important work the movement has been doing. Right. And so this is where I would like to end it at now. Anybody who is feeling that I'm sorry, the bottom line not to make you feel this way, but to point us to certain inefficiencies that might come to us as a root shock on the election day, and also to see if we can develop modalities that we can do now to attack or to at least mitigate some of these things these guys are planning. And for people who are usually confident, saying that these elections cannot be this, their confidence is not anchored on any substantial data. Their confidence is just hopefulness and wishful. I don't want to say it is wishful thinking, but it is not anchored on data. There is evidence that something is going wrong, and somebody is pointing you to it, and you see that nothing can go wrong. Well, I don't want to say this, keep saying this so that I won't discourage people, but it is better that we, even if we sound confident on the outside, then we'll have to come back inside and tell ourselves the God honest truth to prevent these people from doing what they are planning to do. Because if we don't prevent them, then, but I believe that with the kind of energy, especially the unmatched energy of young Nigerians, that will find a way to prevent these people from doing what they are planning to do. I use the mic and I'll hang around for the next 2 or 3 minutes and then I'll take my leave. Aki, thank you so very much for the opportunity. And thank you for all the participants here who have also taken their time to listen to what you have to say.
Okay, Mr. Chima, thank you very much. Thank you for all you do. We appreciate what you do. I mean, to be forewarned is to be forearmed. So your warning is well noted. So let's quickly take Damian. I see you joined as a co-host. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you have anything to say before we take maybe like the next set of speakers.
No, nothing else. Let's just go through the floor and rotate the.
So quickly,
Okay.
Damien, 1 minute. Thank you very much for
Chief.
support.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Yeah.
Same to you, Damien. These are your types of conversations. I like, where's Damien? And I'm glad to have you in here. Chima, thank you very much for dedicating your time this afternoon. You've been spectacular. Yes, while people may be looking at it like you're running to the wolf and scaring to the hill, scaring everyone like a wolf. I don't think that's your intent. And I think again, as we have these conversations, from a very mature point of view, look at what solutions are. If there are any existing options, and equally, how do we even document as much as possible? I think you've been very, very educative so far. Again, big thanks to Great Oracle. He's not here, but always a pleasure having him. Here on the space, equally Yemi, someone that's been doing great work on the advocacy front. Again, invested uncountable energy, effort funds, continues to be a force of inspiration. Happy birthday to Yemi, by the way. I wish I had a great voice. I would have given you a nice melody, but I think you can manage my cocky voice, with greeting. But Yemi, I have you take the space. I know you've got a very short presence here, but always glad to have you. Mike is yours.
Exactly. Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. I saw the reaction about INEC and ChathamHouse. So and then listened to comments that I thought I should correct before I bounce. So number one, anybody who's at the polling unit, you don't need to, you can act as an agent in a sense, quote and unquote. The young man who said that. Obviously, as he also said, you're not trying to sign official documents. Your polling unit is your polling unit. So you own it. And I think I always say that because I act as an observer. If I go to a polling unit, all I can do is observe. All I can do is document. And I'll write, I can call INEC, escalate this is happening, they are fighting here, there are not enough materials here. But all I can do is observe and document and escalate. But if it's my polling unit, we all die here together. There's a certain difference in responsibility you are allowed to have because it's your polling unit. So if you see that things are going wrong in your polling unit, you can check the constitution. I think it's the constitution allows us to what does it call to in a sense correct people, like they call it citizens arrest, quote unquote. So I'm not saying you should go and arrest people, but it allows you as citizens to actually check people who are doing the wrong thing. So if you think about it in that context, you can actually do that at the polling unit because it is polling unit. One of my favorite kind of check-in stories was actually from 2011. A group of women in their polling units, elderly women, they got tents, they got chairs, they got drinks, and they were chilling. Now, any boy that came and wanted to cause trouble, they will call you and tell you that we know every child that has been born into this neighborhood. You don't belong here. By the time 20 mothers accost you, you will receive sense and step back. They were acting, so they weren't necessarily, I don't know if they were standing for any party, but they were more concerned about the integrity of the process and they didn't want trouble. So you don't have to carry it on your head as obedience or whatever. Just be active citizens and just make sure that things are being done properly, not necessarily from an obedience point of view, but just as citizens who want the process to go well. And you are allowed to do that. So it's not an official role, but it's your polling unit and you are vested in ensuring that your vote counts. Because if anything goes wrong in your polling units, your vote will not count. So you have a vested interest in it. And that takes me to the second point someone said about if someone comes with violence, your first priority should be to capture the person. Even if you capture the person and they prosecute the person later, they've scattered your polling unit. Your votes have gone inside trash can. Because the law says if anybody scatters a polling unit, the result of that polling unit will be cancelled. Obviously, if they are able to salvage it and everything is calm and the voting process continues, it'll be fine. But if it's really scattered and there's violence and everything goes scattered, you just cancel the result of that polling unit. So your job primarily as anybody that belongs to any party is to ensure that the violence doesn't even come in. So the best thing is to ensure anybody that's trying to do trouble, just have people on the outpost, just keep checking, keep paying attention, make sure you speak to the security agents. When they want to do their job, they know how to do their job. And make sure that they're on the side of free and fair elections. And just pay attention to all those things before anything evil happens. But yeah, everybody has the right to be an active citizen at your polling unit and to own it and to check people. You actually can do that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Auntie Yemi. That was a very good one and very clear. I think we've had Kenny here for some time. Kenny, are you on now? So maybe you can go.
Yeah, thank you, One Minute Nigeria. I took up the mic because of our sister Madonna that said that she has been down since yesterday. So I wanted to tell her I used to, I said since yesterday, I said we are actually doing what we're supposed to do, which means we're working 10 times more than whatever they are planning to do with INEC, whether good or bad. We are working 10 times in order to overcome whatever thing that is bad that they are planning. So I do support us to continue to work hard. But all I'm advocating for is the way any mechanism that we can still push the party or obedience to push Labour Party or our principal to ask INEC for an independent um, meeting with some other parties and have some verification on their system. And we can work and chew gum. We can continue to everything we can on voting while we continue to China. It doesn't mean that they will yield to independent verification, but at least for we to make attempt to ask those questions. So that's all I'm advocating for. And I believe I said it before. I say I have watched the number that they used to win election in 2011, 2015, 2019. The numbers are not much. And given the number of new registers for PVC, and then more people coming out to collect their PVC, you find out that it's something phenomenal that is going on. So whatever they are planning is going to be overcome by the overwhelming number of people that is collecting their PVC and the people that registered newly. So I don't think it will work. I believe it will not work, but let's all find a way if we can verify all the promises that the INEC has been giving to us. Thank you, and I yield the mic.
Thank you, Mr. Kenny. That's very wise contribution to the conversation. Let's have Giochi. Giochi, I think you've been here and your hand is up. After which we have Madam Bolanle so that we can have a lady in the conversation. Giochi, you can go ahead. Giochi, are you there? Okay. Madam Bolanle, just go ahead.
Good afternoon, everybody. Akin, Damien, Women Nigeria, and everyone else, speaker sections and sections. I've kind of listened to what people have been saying, and I appreciate what Kima was sharing with us. But my take on it is, there's no conclusive evidence that that's what happened. What we're going by is, it's interesting to know that there's some sort of downsides to BVerse in the sense that it's not 100% foolproof. And I accept, I don't think there's any system in the world that is 100%, as long as they're human beings having to interact with the systems, and the system is only as good as the people who are managing that system. We accept that, and I don't wanna, give too much credence to that kind of way of thinking, because it can be quite demoralizing if you think the system's already stacked against you, right? So I kind of look at it from like a Nigerian perspective. Every election we've had has always had an element of rigging in it, and the reason why it has been successful over the years is because there's such voters' apathy. Where there's low numbers of people coming out, the percentage or the possibility of it being rigged are higher, which is why we're encouraging people to still go and get your PVCs, right? Do not sell your vote. Turn up on the day and take ownership. It's your polling units. Where, I mean, I know last night at the dinner, it mentioned again the need for polling agents. Please, if you can, register, get in touch, and register to be a polling agent. The structure they keep on arguing and telling us about are those who are at polling unit levels and every level going up, who are able to manipulate things because nobody's watching. But it's when you have a vested interest, you know, you would take control of your polling unit. My sister Madonna, please, I know you're doing fantastic work getting people to collect their PVCs. Please continue doing it. All we can do at this point is to ensure that there is people come out en masse. That's all we can do at this point. Yes, in certain parts of the north, you know, the numbers are always manipulated. But even if you think about it, Buhari only won with 15 million votes in 2019, and that's with we had like 40% or more voters apathy, right? So what we need to do is just make sure we have the numbers. I feel like we do have the numbers, but it can't be discouraged. We've come too far. You know, you don't start on a journey and get halfway there and then say, oh, you know, it's too hard. It was never going to be easy. It was always going to be a fight, because what we're trying to do is take back our country from the establishment. And in order to do that, right, there's always going to be people who want to fight back, right? I looked at it today and I was like, okay, right, they're not talking about people collecting PVCs because they don't want people to collect PVCs, right? So we're going to do the opposite and keep on, you know, putting pressure on INEC to make sure they release people's PVCs and encouraging obedience to go and collect their PVCs. Yeah, that's one thing. Other thing, I thought, okay, both main political parties are still doing rallies, you know, as a show of force and all the rest of it. You know, if they've got this in the bag, they quite easily sit down and just not do anything. You know, I mean, they're not respectful of the electorate anyway, but they're still going out to try and campaign, right? So they know it's not 100%, you know, well, it's not 100% that they have done everything they can do to rig and successfully win the election, right? Look, we have power, and the power we have is the numbers. And unless we keep on pushing, right, we would have failed ourselves, because I mean it's been months and months of intense work. A lot of people have put, you know, so much into this. I just want to encourage everybody, you know, yes, it's interesting to know the weaknesses of the system. Yes, we accept that there are going to be people who are going to give in and bribe INEC staff or whoever, right? But not everybody's going to do that. Like somebody said earlier, there are obedience in INEC. You know, there are people who have been coming to tell us what's going on. You know, and it's just a case of, you know, be aware that this is going on behind the scenes. However, it's not widespread enough to, on its own, determine the election. So please collect your PVCs. Let's keep on going. Let's keep on pushing. In the meantime, if there are other legal ways in which we can counter some of these concerns or really get INEC, I mean, an audit would be fantastic, you know, but I'm a pragmatist. It might not happen. So at the same time, we have to keep on doing what we're doing. Thank you so much for letting me speak, and I'll yield the mic at this point.
All right, thank you, Auntie Bolanle. That was a wise one. I think people should know this. The truth is, if an independent body audits 2019 or 2015 election result. Believe me, you'll be surprised what somebody said it earlier. I think some people don't know what overvoting is. Before now, before the current electoral act, the way voting is counted, it is counted against the number of registered voters in the polling unit. So there are 1,000 people that are registered in the polling unit. Even if 200 came to vote, political parties will top it. They will bring that 800 and top it, which means even those that are dead literally voted. But this current one is saying that the only way someone can vote is if his fingerprint verified him. So even if you send PVC, you probably need to send your fingerprint along with it. So that's we should know that, and it's one of the things that will help us in this election. All right, let's have George. I called you before. I don't know if you're around now. George, are you there?
Yes. I'm here.
Okay, just go ahead.
All right. Good evening, ObiDientSpace. I just want to say, is there any way we can push INEC to make them extend the deadline they set for the collection of PVC? Because I see no reason why INEC should end the collection of PVC on the 29th of this month. So if INEC can extend it at least 1 week or 2 weeks to the election, the collection of, to me, from the way I've seen it, it won't stop any arrangement INEC have put on ground. It's just to enable more people to vote. Because ending this PVC collection on the 29th is going to disenfranchise so many persons. Because from the observation we've gotten on ground here in Abuja and some words, the INEC staff here are collecting 1K from the people. We've made this report. I've personally called into a radio program. We've complained. So INEC have been saying we should bring things that are happening on daily basis. The INEC staff there. So it means if you go to get your PVC, I don't have 1,000 naira, they will not attend to you. So we have been pushing. So if there's any way obedient with our numbers, we can push and ask INEC to extend the collection date for PVC. Since it's just the collection, it won't stop their preparation or whatsoever arrangement that we put on ground, so that more obedient can get their PVC. Because from what we've seen from the statistics and analysis, obedient are the one collecting PVC. This other party, APC and PDP, they don't care because they know they will always have their field day. But we know this time, the INEC cannot be trusted 100%, but we know definitely with the beavers, there's a little improvement compared to the candidate that they use. And I want to say it's good we put all cards on the table. We put all cards on the table and see any way there will be a loophole so that obedience can come in. Today in a program in Abuja here, the Family is a known program, Human Rights Radio. There's a honorable that came to the program. He brought the complaint. I was shocked this morning when I heard it. The man said the election was, I don't know the year, is it 2019 or thereabout, that in his ward, he won the election and the certificate of return was given to him. But to his surprise, another person that is it the candidate came third, or he was not even in the race with him, was announced the winner. And he said Yakubu Mahmoud is the one that announced that guy winner of that election. I've forgotten the state, but it happened today. The man came today. Human Rights Radio. You can go and watch the video on Facebook. You can see it there. So they're not asking, you mean Yakubu Mahmoud, the present INEC chairman? He said yes. So when he approached Yakubu Mahmoud and told him, I won this election, the figures are there. So how come you announced another person winner after giving me certificate of return? Then Yakubu Mahmoud told him that, sorry, my friend, the order came from above. He said, what are you telling me? The order came from above for you to announce somebody else. So they're throwing the man up and down. So the man has to come to Human Rights Radio today. So he came yesterday and he came today to let a complaint that they should help him to fight that they are trying to. They have rigged the election and they have given the election he won black and white to another person who is not even in the race. So INEC is our problem and we will keep fighting because in consum, P2B is going to win this year election on the last slide. And I want to beg all obedient. If you're not able to get your PVC, please, I beg you in the name of God, on that day of election, come outside. You know, what will have this mass, what will have these numbers? When some person, some miscreant wants to misbehave and they see the numbers, They will be scared. They don't have the numbers. They don't have the numbers. So when they come out and they say that obedience dominate this polling unit, they will hide their face. No matter, see, those people, they make empty noises. They don't have that nerve. If obedience can come out in mass, anybody you have PVC, you don't have PVC on election day, we need to secure our vote. We need to make sure our vote is counted. To me, I personally decide that day, I'm going to sleep there. I'm going with my food flags. I'm going with a phone network, I'm going with all of them with data in it. So there will not be from polling unit.
Josh, we are losing you gradually. Just round up as soon as possible.
Okay. I think that's just my point. So obedience should keep pushing, and God's grace, come February 25th, we'll take the victory. Thank you. I hear the mic.
All right, thanks, Josh. Yes, some part of INEC will be our problem, but we are the solution. Let's come out in mass. I see everybody in the speaker session will come to you. Let's just take Udo Josh. I know you've been here for some time. Udo Josh, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I just want to thank everybody who has made the contribution on this space so far. It has been a very engaging conversation. One of the things that are very important in every conversation is what actions are we going to take away? What are the things that we're going to work on? I just want to respond to I think it was very many that talked about this election violence, what are you supposed to do, this thing then. I think I can't remember her name. A lady then spoke and said, if you capture them, what is going to happen? It's very important that we have very very clear, distinct things on what people need to do, because what's going to be is going to be confusion and will be handicap. So, as she mentioned that I had to go to the I think she said the election is cancelled and there's nothing that can be done. So, if that happens, it gives a sense of hopelessness. But when she mentioned that, I just needed to just go to the electoral law and see if an election is cancelled, what can be done, what would be done, and how can you salvage it. So basically, from Electoral Act 2022, it says if there is a destruction of election in a particular location, yes, cancel, yes, we will cancel, but a rerun will be done. A rerun will be done in that particular location as long as it's right. So it's important that we take that context into that. So if there's violence in your particular location, what do you need to do? You need to have that evidence. You probably might do citizen arrest. You might not even have the opportunity. People come with AK-47 and there's disputed place. Where is the hand you use to go and catch or somebody that's carrying AK-47 and shooting over the place to go and tie to a tree? But if people come in there and clearly there's there's disruption, and you can accurately capture it and ensure that your presiding officer and everybody in that polling unit capture it that there's a disruption and you have video evidence, they take that as a petition to INEC and ensure that that particular stuff is cancelled and everyone will have to hold in that particular polling unit to ensure that I think it's about the national power that that election is supposed to hold in that particular unit or ward. It's important that we are aware of these things so that we don't get into a situation whereby we are hopeless and people come in and disturb the place and say, oh, they have disturbed it. And that probably will give some people say, oh, if it's going to be cancelled, what do I need to do? You probably want to bring out your own gun or something and everywhere scatters. But it's important that we take that into perspective. Then the next thing, in terms of the various issues that we have spoken here, what is the action point? Uh, and this is what I would charge to the post, Akin, Damian, or women in this place. At the end of every conversation, what it's good that we have a summary of the different suggestions that people have said. What is left for the obedience to do? Okay, people here who are not like in the advocacy or don't have connection to maybe Labour Party or other parties. This is what we need to do. Continue your voter education and all that. Why these are the suggestions we are giving to Labour Party or every other party. And also let's also note that in this election, yes, we are obedient, but let's also understand that this election is not just about us, not just about the obedient movement. It's all about the Nigerian people who are trying to make a decision. So in any way, we are bringing INEC to the conversation. It should not be seen that INEC is him not wanting the obedience or Peter Obi not to be president. It's about INEC allowing the will of the Nigerian people to come to pass. Now, this communication that I've said, they are two different things. If we clearly understand, because if you drag it on like INEC is suppressing obedient movement, then it becomes a big challenge. It becomes a like a back and forth, which at the end of the day you might not get any meaningful solution out of it. But if you're coming from a standpoint of allow the will of the people to come to pass, and these are our suggestions, and if coming to any conversation, it's important that while you're camping on the problems, you also need to be giving out the solutions to INEC and recommendations. It's not enough to just talk about the problems. What recommendations are we giving to INEC, or what part are we playing to ensure that those recommendations we are having comes to pass? If we have a recommendation for Labour Party as a party, or being the forefront, or maybe others, or the coalition, I know that the the parties usually have like conversations with INEC chairman. I think they did one like last week. Who are the people that attend those meetings? How can we ensure that these meetings are these points we are making comes to pass, or are they non-governmental organizations that also attend those, or civil service civil organizations that also attend those spaces? Who were the people that attended the last one? Where is the next meeting? How can we ensure that these points are being said? Or if you do not have that forum, how can we ensure that we are bringing it to the national forum, but not necessarily like, oh, INEC is trying to stifle obedience from no, but INEC allow the will of the people to be said, and that's at the end of the day ensures that this conversation is not just in quote partisan, but is a nationalistic agenda to ensure that the will of the people comes to pass. That's just my submission. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Udo George. One of the reasons why we have this conversation is so that people would learn, people would try to get points that they would also use to speak to people. For example, like Auntie Yemi said earlier, we need to, at the polling unit, the first set of moves is to make sure that the violence doesn't even get to the polling unit. So if we need to mount people outside to do the best they can, because if you look at the Electoral Act very well, a rerun will be done only if after the collation of the results, the space between the winner and the next person is less than, or I don't know if I'm saying it right now, it's not, the rerun is not enough to cover for it, something like that. Or, but as much as possible, let's try to tame this. The major point that we need to learn from that is that we should endeavor to mount our polling unit in such a way, not destructively, but to preserve it. So I think that's like the major point. But like Udo just said, there's need to know that there's a possibility of a rerun. And when you are coming up, if you have recommendations that we can all learn from, it's something that you can. But don't forget, one of the major reasons for this conversation is INEC at Chatham House. Uncle Steve, I'll come to you. So let's just quickly take Mood Radio Playlist. I know you've been here for some time.
Thank you so much. Thanks to Akin and Damian for co-hosting and hosting this wonderful space. My train of thoughts basically have changed from speaker to speaker, but I'm going to try to summarize what I want to say today with regards to this issue. The fault of all that we've discussed so far is, very issue that's bedeviled our dear country, which is basically systemic in nature. Um, Chima done a good job, basically point out or basically sound the alarm. You know, what a lot of us have been asking for so many months, which basically fell under the radar. Because as Nigerians, right, we have had this attitude of apathy. My submission is going to be both carrot and stick in nature, so bear with me, right? We've had this attitude as Nigerians. And, no apology. Most times when things are going the way they're going, we don't jump in to try to save the day. When it's running too late, that is where you see us, in our usual manner of fire brigade approach, we start panicking, we start doing things. But I want to say here that basically what is brought to the fore is only for me um, an encouragement. We all, as obedient and as Nigerians, take it as a way of encouragement by being the solution, right? It's never late or it's not over until it is over, right? So let us go out there and basically do the best we can, right? To present countermeasures. Let's go to our polling units. Let's go with our mobile devices, right? We know we cannot go into the polling booth itself with our mobile devices, right? So let us basically devise a strategy on how we can at least have our mobile phones, right? At some particular point during our stay in the polling unit, right, to be able to capture happenings, happenings that will be very vital to presenting a strong case if there is, right, that there's that need, present evidences of, what may have happened, because whether we like it or not, there will be incidences that we would need to record. But how smart we are in getting this data captured, what we need to start thinking about right now. Let us start thinking ahead of time, right? And if we can get that right, we will go a long way to ensuring that no matter what the plans that these people may have, that we're able to thwart their plans, nip it in the bud before it escalates beyond, salvaging. That is basically the one area that I wanted to touch. The final area that I want to touch before I yield my mic is this. Like I've said, this movement is a wake up call. And what is happening with the BDM movement is something that I'm proud of, and I'm hoping that we are able to sustain it, right? And if we're able to sustain it, we will begin to build better institutions in Nigeria, institutions that will hold our leaders accountable, rather than basically returning back to that shell of I better pass my neighbor, to the extent that we have generators that we actually had to name I better pass my neighbor, right? And you see things like this play out in our society. We've been asking why is this, CVR or whatever it is called, not continuous. We talked about Nigerians, being disenfranchised even up to the tune of basically a few days to the election. We have been tweeting about this for months. People did not take this serious. Little did I know that Great Oracle actually tweeted about this, sometime in May. These are things that we should have pushed for. And having PVCs basically manufactured or printed out as at when you doing your registration was very critical. It wasn't difficult a thing to do. And when they did not do that, what about ensuring that as these PVCs are created, that people are informed that okay, your PVC has been created, go collect it via bulk SMSs or emails, so that those people who don't have those means of communications with the numbers they are dealing with. And of course, these PVCs are created today, already today, and you're getting people to gather in mass, like there's chaos happening somewhere, and you can't even basically prioritize and say, okay, if you have so surnames starting with O, you come on a certain day, or if you're born on this date, you come on a certain day, and you get people basically gathering at locations in mass, and you're stressing them, putting them under pressure. This is one problem that I see in Nigeria happening every single day. We are a nation of intellect. I pray that we'll begin to use our brains, because this whole thing is simple project management strategies that you and I and even kindergarten can tackle easily. And because we have failed to elect leaders that are basically meant to be where they're supposed to be to provide for their citizens, we see these kind of mistakes. Let us ensure this time that we elect leaders who are supposed to be in the right hole, not electing round peg leaders, putting them in square peg holes or whatever it is called. I yield my submission.
All right, thank you, Mood. That's very strong submission. I see a lot of people on the space, a lot of obedience. Shout out to you guys, Magnific Good, Nello, Dr. Ru, Rhoda. I see all you guys. Yeah, and this conversation is meant to actually move us to where we are going to. Let's just get Uncle Steve. Uncle Steve.
Well, meaning Nigeria are doing a good job. Thank you for assisting our brother Kaki on this space. Yeah, thank you. I just want to quickly talk. My space is about to start. My reaction to the Chatham House is yes. The chairman gave a very eloquent, confident presentation. I'm not surprised. Professors know how to speak English. That's where it ended. It was all English. I think we've passed the stage whereby we just continue to accept these people coming around speaking grammar and thinking we'll look past what is happening on the ground. Um, Not to discourage anybody, I believe that this election we're winning it with a landslide. But calling INEC to account is not a means to discourage anybody. INEC is the opposition today. APC and PDP are dead and buried. They cannot stand our movement. They know that. When they gaslight us and say, oh, structure, it was INEC they were talking about. So when obedience are facing INEC, please don't be discouraged. Don't see it as, we should call out INEC, please. We should. INEC have not done well. What we can do between now and the election is what we are looking for. Many things are going on, but it is not a situation where we'll run away from it. Please, the INEC chairman was very stylish, talking about the beavers, talking about his preparation. All those things are good. He also emphasized that they made improvements from 2019. Well, let me announce to him that we're not looking for improvement. We want a free, fair, and credible election. Can you deliver that today? He didn't answer that question. He talked about many things they are doing. We know they are doing a lot. It's not easy to conduct an election. He emphasized 90-something million votes at the highest in West Africa. Well, that is the job, sir. When you gave us a budget, that was the budget. They gave you money for that. Are you delivering the PVCs? What are the alternative means to make sure everybody that registered? Remember, 10 million people were denied registration. That's a topic for another day. We're talking about those that managed to register. How can we ensure that every single one gets their PVC? He mentioned that they will be ending on the 29th. He repeated it almost 3 times. I listened. Remember, anything these people say, they are particular about it. We need INEC to stop that nonsense of 29th January. They must continue to share these PVCs until everybody gets it. This idea of saying, okay, let us wait and see what happens in local government. Yes, I can give INEC that there are places where our people, Nigerians, are not going to pick up their PVCs, but largely the new registrants are really desperate to get their PVCs. It is the old ones that are, some people have traveled, they have unfortunately left us. Maybe those are the ones uncollected, but obedience are desperate to get their PVCs. This idea of double registration or you registered and transferred, I think transfer is one of the major issues. They need to speak to it and resolve it. I have to leave. My space on Nigerian Bank is starting. Please join me there. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Peter USA. So quickly, I mean, so I think just to clarify, someone said earlier, and I think I also just emphasize now, please, the collection date, the last date for collection of PVC is 29th of this month, as of today. And that is what we are going to work with. I want to please encourage us. You know, you've not collected your PVC. Please go and collect your PVC. Don't wait for any extension. Don't wait. In fact, as a matter of fact, I can tell you for free that there will be no extension. So that if it comes, you can say, oh, okay, this is Jara, we will call it in Nigeria term. But please don't wait for any extension. Collection date of PVC is 29. Damian, you wanted to say
yes, I also wanted to add that the PVCs are being collected at the ward level. It's collected at the ward level.
Yeah.
And I know a few people, I've been receiving DMs and requests, the people talking about them misplacing their temporary slip and they can't find it. If you cannot find your temporary slip, or you have people around you who have the same issue, all they need to do is to go to the PVC status website. It is voters.inecnigeria.org. So voters.inecnigeria.org. You fill out the form. When you see the results, you can print out the result and take it with you, possibly with a form of identification. Take it to INEC office, and that could be used to obtain your PVC. And on that sheet, you can also see your wards. A lot of people do not have information about their ward. Sending us, requesting for what their ward is. So we just tell them, go to that website, voters.inecnigeria.org, fill it out. On the result, see your word there. Put your word and pick up your PVC, please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, David. That's very vital information. Please, if you have it tweeted, maybe you can share it on the Jumbotron so that people can go and get their PVC. In fact, I think it's relatively easier now. I think it's relatively easier now because I know a couple of people that were collected as from my church the last week. And everybody kept coming back with good testimonies. But have it in mind. We are not waiting for extension. I need to hammer that. Don't expect any extension. It's in night. Make sure you have collected your PVC. And that's very important. Mr. Charles, I know you've been here for some time. Let's have you.
All right. Thank you very much. I hope I am audible enough.
Loud and clear.
Okay. God bless you. And I think it's a good thing to be with you today. A number of times I've missed it. Sometimes we'll just be a passive listener. But today I decided to also indicate my interest to speak. But I think the people who spoke before me have spoken well. But by the way, I'm a journalist. I'm a broadcaster. I live in Lagos. I have been a police secretary of a party before in the state. I won't want to mention that. I want to just see me as a journalist, a broadcaster, and then leave the politician side of me out. Good. Having said that, one thing I want to raise an awareness, which I believe that most people are not aware. As a journalist, I need to also say that one thing that the obedient have to be aware about and also to take very seriously is the issue of RATEC. Now, RATEC is not featuring in the news every day, but it's very important for the electoral process. RATEC is spelled RATECH. Okay, and what is that? It's an acronym for registration area technical support. Okay, and there are 82 of them across Nigeria that INEC just trained them before the end of last year. Now, why should the audience be very particular about the job of these people? Is this? I heard somebody said earlier that once you vote, the result will be available to everybody all over the world. No, it is not so. It is not so. There is what is called IREV. IREV is a portal. It's a set of the portal in the INEC website, and IREV is an acronym for that's INEC. That's result viewing. Just IREV. That's a result viewing. Internet result or something I can't recall about. It has to do with result viewing. Now, this is what. Happens, and this is why the RATEC official have been concluded. So they have fed it to INEC.